everyone. Happy Tuesday. Here we are for another day of life. This is the day that the Lord has made. I'll rejoice and be glad in it. The book of Matthew, chapter 13. This is after Jesus talks about the parable of the sower, which you can read about earlier in the chapter. But the disciples were wanting to know what was meant. And so he says, "Blissful are your eyes, for they see. Delighted are your ears, for they are open to hear all things." And now you are ready to hear the explanation. So we're going to talk about principles of sowing. Now, a principle works regardless of its intent. If you, excuse me, let's say you throw a rock into a pond, regardless of why you threw that rock, it's going to make a ripple. That's what I'm getting at principles. Principles work regardless of their intent, but when you work for God's kingdom, they work in your favor. So it says It says early in the chapter, there was a farmer who went out to sow seeds. As he cast his seeds, some fell along the beaten path, and the birds came and ate them. And then he says in verse 19, "What was sown along the path represents the one who listens to the message of the kingdom, but does not understand it. The adversary then comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart." See the common path, the beaten path represents a high traffic area, right? If a lot of people are walking, it becomes a hard ground, and the seeds couldn't penetrate the soil because it was beaten solid, so the birds just came and ate the seed up. But what this also means is the beaten path is like common knowledge. It's constantly reiterated and known and walked and tread on, so that there's not really room for more to get in. There's not really a space for more seed to come in. And in this parable, Jesus is talking about it in the negative sense, because the farmer's trying to sow good seed, but it could not penetrate the ground where the path was hard. And that's just a principle. That's a truth. If you throw seed on a beaten path, it's not going to do much except get eaten because it's not protected by the soil. But the thing about a principle is it works the opposite way too. Now, think of yourself as a Christian serving God. Think about yourself as constantly being filled with the good knowledge, with the good word of Jesus. You can look at it as your ground becomes impenetrable to bad seed. When bad seed gets thrown your way, well, no, my ground is hard enough on the solid foundation of the Word of God. The bad seed cannot enter in, and it can get snatched away by the angelic birds. Like, I don't need it. You'll never stop negativity from coming your way, but the Spirit of God in you can put a protective layer over your spirit to keep the negative seed out. That's a principle of God. Does it make sense? God bless you.